Here we have our Zoom H4 recorder. And this is what we're going to do all our interviews on, and we are going to use for all our recordings. It is a digital recorder and it records at a really high quality. It's a very professional device and we love it. So how do we start using it? Well, first of all, we have to switch it on. So if we go to the side here, we've got where it says hold and the universal on symbol. So simply click down, hold, and then we'll see the screen will appear. So this is it now loading, and it says no card. Now the reason for that is there's no SD card on the device. So what we need to do is insert our SD card. This is what the audio is going to be recorded onto, and it will allow us to very quickly transfer from the Zoom recorder onto the computer. So how do we put the SD card in? Well, we turn to the side here. There's a wee slot here. Open it up and put in the SD card. Will now come loading again. Now, other thing to notice is we've got up at the top there a battery strength signal. At the minute we are sitting at 3 bars. That's really good. If when you start up the Zoom, it has a bar count of only 2 bars, what you want to do is do a test recording. Because if the Zoom recorder goes down to 1 bar, you won't be able to use your recordings. What happens is the levels will look all really good, but actually the recording will be really, really quiet because the machine hasn't had the strength or the ability to actually do a good recording. So if you see that 2 bars, do a test recording and just see if it quickly drops down to 1. But we've got 3 and that should absolutely be fine. So what we've got now on our screen is a number that starts at 000. That's because we haven't done any recordings yet. Whenever we are recording, that will count up. We've also got a number at the bottom here. That will count down whenever we're doing the recordings, because what that shows us is the amount of time we have left on our SD card. We've also got a sign that says no data. That's because there's nothing on this SD card as yet, so it's got nothing to play back. What I would say to you is, whenever you've done your recordings, take your recordings off your SD card as soon as possible. If another student comes in to use that SD card, they have a perfect right to wipe everything that's on the SD card. That's just getting into professional standard of making sure you're in control and in charge of your recordings. So you take them off immediately off the SD card, put them onto your OneDrive, put them onto your flash drive, put them onto your laptop, anyway, but make sure you take them off, because once that SD card is back into the storage cupboard, everyone has a perfect right to then wipe the recordings off it before they use it next. Okay, so the way this recorder can work is if I press mic here, what we're using are the mics that are up here. These mics, but we're not going to use those mics. We're going to use instead mics 1 and 2 down here. And we're going to use those because at the bottom here, there are what we call XLR connectors. And what these allow us to do is to connect up an external dynamic mic. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to plug in my mics. Now you see there's a wee on an XLR cable slot there. That'll correspond to these slots here. And I'm going to put mine into number 1. So we just slot it in like that. And now we're actually using this mic here. We need to now get our levels set. So how do we do that? Well, we press the record button once. Notice now the record light is flashing. That means we are not recording. Count up is not going up and the countdown is not going down. But what we do have now are levels that we can see just here. And that is the levels that are picking up this mic is picking up and bringing down here. To get a good recording, we like ours to be around -6. Which actually looks okay, but actually, I'm obviously speaking quite a distance to this. Let me go a little bit closer there, and we can say we're actually too loud. We're going into the red, or the into distortion level. As soon as we're above -0, we are into distortion level, and we won't like the recordings. It'll sound very bad, very tinny. So what we need to do is adjust the gain levels. So at the side here, we have got a record level. and it's the little flip switch there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit minus. And as I hit minus, we can see the record level is going down. And if we see the levels are going down as well. So if I keep going down quite a bit, we can see now the levels are too quiet. Whenever we bring this recording in, it's going to be too quiet. If we try to amplify it using our software, it's going to then be played back with a lot of background noise on it. So what we need to do is, I'm now going to push the plus. I'm now going to push the plus sign here, and I'm going to increase the gain or the sensitivity of the mic. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a series of test recordings. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, still a bit too loud. Let's bring it down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And there we are talking at -6. And that is the level that we're looking to do for our recordings. Not too quiet, but at the same point, not too loud. Now, that looks pretty good. So I could then hit the record button again. And now we can see we're recording. Our count up is going up and the countdown is going down. Now, the good thing is with our recordings is we know they are going to be edited. So I can literally go, right, let me just check my recording, definitely. Well, the light is steady. Count up is going up, count down is going down. Okay, I'm recording. Okay, let's start with the recording. Hello, I'm in the room with, and let's start the interview. So that's very good. Our levels are good. Then whenever we want to stop, we simply hit the square stop button, and indeed the recording stops. Now we've got a little name up there, mono1.wav. What that means is this is a mono recording, i.e. the left and the right are recording the same signal, and the file is number 1. And that means whenever we transfer this SD card to the PCs, the computers, Macs, PCs, we will then find number 1, and we will actually use that file. That's our file. It is a WAV recordings. All our recordings will be WAV because that's the best quality, and that's what we need to record as. Now, some of the other checks, we want to make sure it's the right file format, etc. So we've got here, it says 44.116. That's what we're looking for. And mono recording. That's right. That's what we're looking for in our recordings. We need to make sure the lights are 1 and 2 lit. That means it will require 1 and 2 to be recording, not top mics up, stop. And always, whenever we're doing these recordings, there is one other thing we need to do. And this is, we always record with headphones. Really, really important. Because what the headphones tell us, it tells us what the mic is recording, what this mic is recording. Not what our ears are hearing, but what the mic is listening to. And that means we'll notice if there's any handling noise, if we're banging on things, or if there's any electrical disturbance, etc., things like that. So what we do is, at the side here, there's a phone socket. We put in our headphones. And we always listen to the headphones whenever we're doing recording. And now we're all good to record.